Roses are red, violets are blue, Roses are red, violets are blue, Liverpool's 1 and Arsenal is 2, and that's the way it looks like it's going to stay this weekend. But what will go on in the rest of the division, we're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today is all about the Premier League. That's right, it is match day number 25, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new where you've been, hit the old subscribe. You one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, World Football, Premier League. We got it all here under one rooski. That's right. Liverpool are just 6 points clear at the top of the table. They do play their game in hand on Wednesday. That's, of course, when they take on Everton in the Merseyside derby. That's right. But what will go on this weekend? We'll take a look at that in just a second. Big shout out to the members. Big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. But what we're going to do now, though, is revisit the last weekend's games, bring you bang up to date with that. And, of course, the Super Brew. So sit tight. Hold on. Here we go, guys and girls. Recapping the results, which were a couple of weeks back, actually. We had the FA Cup distraction. These were the last games, and look at these absolute crackers. Forest put 7. I say 7. That is not a typo. Against Brighton of Albion. I went with a 1-0 win. Newcastle did lose to Fulham in the Mitrovic derby. 2-1 away win there. Everton with a 4-0 win over Leicester. I went with the 2-1 win. Liverpool did beat Bournemouth 2-0. I went with the 3-1 win. Meanwhile, Southampton with a 2-1 win over Ipswich. I went the other way. Wolves with a 2-0 win over Villa. Massive win for them. Crystal Palace with a 2-0 win over Manchester United, again went the other way. Spurs did beat Brentford 2-0. I went with a 2-1. Arsenal with a 5-1 win over Manchester City. I went with a 2-2 draw. And then Chelsea, 2-1 winners over West Ham. That's what went on the last time around in the Premier League. What about the table? Well, the table looks a little bit like this, guys. It is Liverpool, it is Arsenal, then it's Forest, and then Chelsea. Going down, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester at the moment. But that could all change this coming week with some more action-packed action coming at you in the Premier League. What am I talking about? Well, I'm hoping to show you in just a second. But before that, we are going to take a quick look at the Premier League Super Brewskis. Here we go. Recent run of events have made the table look a little bit like this, guys. It is Anna O'Connor with 10.5. Track bonus with 10.5 as well. Meanwhile, of course, in third is DJ Horn in a quite tightly packed Premier League Prediction League. I'm down there with 7.5 points this past week, as of course a whole host of years. And I failed to really get much closer to the outright leader, which is Barcelonista, with 2-2-2 on the board, with Nacho in second spot, moving up to number 2, and then Vinny Hung down 2 spots to number 3. That's right, that's the situation over there. But what, of course, will go on this week? Well, we'll see in a minute. Make sure you smash the like, smash your subscribe, and smash the little bell, boys and girls. It is a bit crazy in the domestic game right now, with all sorts of games going across the board at the moment. But this is the link for the Prediction League for the Premier League. Get in predicting if you can. So that's that. Let's get a look at the next round of games, and these are those. We're going to kick it all off with Friday. Of course, the Merseyside derby is completely out on its own. We're not really going to look into that. But if I was to say, it is at Merseyside. They've got David Moyes in now. I think originally wasn't Sean Dyche at the helm when it was meant to be played. But if I was to go for a prediction, I'm actually leaning towards Everton getting something out of this. But if I'm a bold man and have to put a penny on it, it will go to Liverpool 2-1 on the night. Meanwhile, let's go to Brighton then, take it on Chelsea in a repeat of the FA Cup matches that just took place this past weekend. This time around, coming at you in the Premier League at the American Express Community Stadium. Brighton under Fabian Hutzler, 2 defeats in the last 6. They are 10th for the table, 34 points for the season, up against Chelsea under Enzo Marquesca. Of course, just 1 win in the last 3. They are 4th in the table, 43 points for the season, and have played Brighton 20 times since 2012. 4 wins Brighton, 11 wins Chelsea, 5 draws between the two sides. Now, they have played each other already this season. Of course, back in September, it was a 4-2 win for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Again, they just played each other just the other day in the FA Cup. It was a 2-1 win for Brighton back in the in round 4. Again, that was the last match for both of these two sides. And again, Brighton coming out top with a 2-1 win. Chelsea are expected to win this game over at the Amex, but it is all eyes on this on Valentine's Day. He will be romancing the stone. Well, it'll be Brighton with a 2-1 win in my eyes. Leicester against Arsenal coming at you over at the King Power Stadium. Leicester under Ruud van Nistelrooy, just 1 win in the last 5. They're 18th for the table, 17 points for the season. Up against Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit second with 50 points, and they've got to keep on winning. They played each other 36 times since 1994. 5 wins Leicester, 23 wins Arsenal. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Leicester, it was a 1-0 win for Arsenal back in February 2023. The reverse fixture this season at in London was a 4-2 win for the Gunners back in September. Arsenal on the back of that 2-0 loss to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Meanwhile, Manchester United did beat Leicester in the FA Cup round 4. The odds right here, right now, we're looking at it. It is, of course, Arsenal massively fancied on this one. Leicester, of course, don't touch them with a barge pole. Going to go with a 2-0 win for the Gunners on this one to keep the heat. Let's go down to the coast. It's Southampton. It's up against Bournemouth in a bit of a derby. That's right, at St Mary's. Southampton under Ivan Juric. 2 wins in the last 6. They've got 9 points for the season. They are 20th. Of course, coming at you against Bournemouth under Andio Areola. That's right, just one defeat in the last 6. They are 7th with 40 points for the season. And they played each other 21 times since 2007. 11 wins. Southampton 6 wins. Bournemouth. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this venue, it was a 1-0 win for Bournemouth back in April 2023. The reverse fixture, a 3-1 win for Bournemouth back in September. Southampton, though, on the back of that 1-0 loss to Burnley. That's in the FA Cup. They are out. Bournemouth are through, though, after a 2-0 win over Everton. The odds for this one, though, looking at it right here, right now, Southampton are, of course, massively out-fancied. Bournemouth are, of course, the heavyweights in this one. Going to go with a 2-1 win for the away side. I was leaning towards a Southampton to get something, but I just can't see it right now. West Ham United up against Brentford, coming at you over at the London Stadium. West Ham under Graham Potter, just 1 win in the last 5. They've not really turned it on, have they? 15th for the table, 27 points for the season. Up against Brentford and Thomas Frank, just 1 win in the last 5. They're 11th in the table, 31 points for the season, and I played the 10 times to 2020. 4 wins West Ham, 5 wins Brentford, 1 draw between the two sides. Last time around over at this very venue, it was a 4-2 win for the Hammers back in February 2024. The reverse fixture, a 1-1 draw back in September this season. West Ham on the back of that 2-1 loss to Chelsea. Brentford losing to Spurs, of course. It's been a while since both of these two sides have played. The odds for this one, no, West Ham are favoured. They're fancied on this one. Brentford, the underdogs, going to go with a 2-0 win for Potter and finally get some more momentum in the Hammers once again. Meanwhile, Aston Villa up against Ipswich Town, coming to at Villa Park. That's right. Aston Villa under Unai Emery, just 1 win defeat in the last 4. Up against Ipswich under Kieran McKenna, just 1 win in the last 5. They're 19th with 16 points for the season. They have played Villa 16 times since 1993. 10 wins for Villa, 2 wins for Ipswich. It's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at this very venue, it was a 2-1 win for Aston Villa back in January 2019 in the Championship. The reverse fixture at Portman Road was a 2-2 draw. Aston Villa are unbeaten against Ipswich over the last 5. They've won 3 and they've drawn a couple. And they're coming into something like that 2-1 win over Spurs in the FA Cup. Ipswich with a 4-1 away win to Coventry in the FA Cup as well to go through to the next stage. The odds right here, right now, Villa are massively fancied. Ipswich, of course, underdogs. Going to go with a 3-0 win for Unai Emery's boys this time around in the Premier League. Meanwhile, spicy game over at Manchester City as they take on Newcastle United at the Etihad Stadium. City under Pep Guardiola, 4 wins, 2 defeats in the last 6. They are 5th. Up against Newcastle under Eddie Howe, 4 wins and 2 defeats in the last 6. They played each other 54 times since 1994, 34 wins for Manchester City, 10 wins for Newcastle, and there's been 10 draws between the two sides. Newcastle are 6th compared to Man City's 5th, both on 41 points. This could be quite spicy. Last time around, over at this very venue in the league, it was a 1-0 win for Manchester City back in August 2023. The reverse fixture between these two sides ended up 1-1 at St James's Park back in September. Man City on the back of that 2-1 win over Leyton Orient. Newcastle also through to the next round of the FA Cup, beating Birmingham 3-2 in a bit of a thriller. The odds right here right now, City are favoured for the victory, but I think it could be a bit spicy. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, just City edging it, and of course maybe keep themselves in that top 4 discussion. Meanwhile, Fulham up against Nottingham Forest, coming at Craven Cottage. Fulham under Marco Silva, 3 wins out of the last 4 games. They are 9th with 36 points for the season. Up against Forest under Nuno Espirito Santo, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They are 3rd. 47 points for the campaign. They are playing on Tuesday in the FA Cup against Exeter. Played each other 22 times since 1999. 13 wins Fulham, 6 wins Forest. 3 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this venue, it was a 5-0 win for Fulham back in December 2023. The reverse fixture, also a 1-0 win for Fulham at the City Ground back in September. They've won 3 of the last 4, have Fulham in this competition. But Forest on the back of that 7-0 win over Brighton. Fulham with a 2-1 win over Wigan most recently. But the odds right here, right now, they go with Fulham as the favourites on this one. Forest the underdog. I'm going the other way here, though. I'm going with a 2-1 away win. Forest keeping up the heat for an ambitious top 3 push this season. Meanwhile, go to Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park, as they take on Everton, coming at you over at on the 15th of Feb. Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner. They've kicked into gear now. This is his part of the season. They've won 5 of the last 6 games. But because Everton under David Moyes, they've won 4 of the last 6. They played each other 33 times since 1994. 6 wins Palace, 15 wins Everton. There's been 12 draws between the two sides. Everton rocking 12th right now, 30 points for the season, against Everton, who are 16th with 29 points for the season. Now, coming at you right here, right now, looking at it, Crystal Palace last played at this venue was a 0-0 draw against Everton in the FA Cup. That was last season. Last season in the league, it was a 3-2 win for Everton back in November 2023. This time around, Goodison Park, 2-1 win as it was for Everton. Everton are unbeaten against Crystal Palace over the last 6. They've won 3 and they've drawn 3. And they're coming into this, though, on the back of that 2-0 loss to Bournemouth. Palace with that 2-0 win over Doncaster United. Meanwhile, the odds for the bookies right here, right now, Crystal Palace are fancied, as am I. Going to go the 2-0 winners, Palace taking it to the house. Into the final couple we go, and it is over to Anfield, and it's Liverpool up against Wolverhampton Wanderers coming at you on the 16th of Feb. Liverpool under Arne Slot, the top of the pops right now, 56 points for the campaign, 2 defeats in the last 6. Up against Wolves under Victor Pereira on back-to-back wins. They're 17th for the table, 19 points for the season. They played 25 times since 2004. I've already bloody called it, lads. I've already bloody called it. I'll pull that back. Pull that back. You didn't see nothing. They played 25 times since 2004. I've got 18 wins Liverpool, 4 wins Wolves. They've got 3 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this venue, it was a 2-0 win for Liverpool. And of course, the title win, the champions elect, should I say, coming into this on the back of a 2-1 win against Wolves at Molineux in the reverse fixture back in September. Liverpool, though, did lose to Plymouth. I don't know what went on there. Wolves, of course, beating my beloved Blackburn Rovers, both of those two in the previous round of the FA Cup. The odds right here, right now, looking at it, staring at it, of course, Liverpool are massively fancied. Liverpool, of course, expected to lose. Going to go with a 3-0 win. And then finally, folks, go to an absolute spicy little bad boy. It's over at the Fancy Pants Stadium in Tottenham. That's right, as they take on Manchester United in, some would have called it a sack race not too long ago. But Angie's still hanging on by dear life. They're 14th for the table, 27 points for the season up against Manchester United. Ruben Allen in there, 13th with 29 points for the season. Of course, they played each other 70 times since 1993, 13 wins Spurs, 44 wins for Manchester United. There's been 13 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this very venue in the league was a 2-0 win for Tottenham, who are actually unbeaten against Manchester United over the last 5. They've won 3 and they've drawn a couple. They also played each other, reverse fixture, 3-0 win as it was for Spurs at Old Trafford back in September, and also played each other this season in the Carabao Cup quarter-final stages, where Tottenham came on top with a 4-3 win. Spurs, though, losing back-to-back, knocked out of both cups. It's all down to Europa League. Meanwhile, Manchester United with a 2-1 win over Leicester to go through to the next round of the Cup. The odds, though, for this one quite tight, but they give it just about to Tottenham on this one, as do I. 2-1 winners. Spurs keeping themselves above Manchester United in the title race. Not title race, what am I saying? In the league table. This is what the table would look like, though, at the end of it. Spurs will be up to 15th. Manchester United down to 15th. The Spurs will be up to 13th. Manchester United down to 15th. Imagine that. And of course, Liverpool still remain at the top of the table with Arsenal and then Forest and then Manchester City. That's what I've got. Make sure you get your own predictions in as well. We look forward to seeing those. But until then, subscribe, smash the like. Catch you guys later. Until then, we are done.